Getting you ready for the 2019 season NFC edition. Mike Tirico, Tony Dungy, Rodney Harrison, Mike Florio. And let's go through some questions relating to those NFC teams. First up, Rams. Are you more concerned about Jared Goff being exposed or Todd Gurley's health, Rodney?
Probably Todd Gurley's health. I'm a guy that had 3 knee surgeries, and when you go back out on the field, when you've had those knee surgeries, first of all, you're never the same. And then you start feeling your knees, and you're afraid when guys start tackling you down there. Jared Goff just played the Super Bowl. He's going to continue to build on that success. I would say Gurley's knee.
I'm with you on that because I think that does a lot for Jared Goff, too. When you're focused on Todd Gurley and you've got to make sure he doesn't hurt you running the ball, that makes it a lot easier to throw. And they didn't have that threat in the Super Bowl. It was tough.
Plus Cooper Kupp, he's back. He'll get back.
I'll go third man in, too. I agree. You know, the Goff progression really feels stunted after you watch the Super Bowl. But Sean McVay did a great job the rest of the year, scoring points, creating plays, and doing things for Goff. So he was still a productive quarterback. So is there a blueprint out there for him? Maybe we saw it starting in the Detroit game that the Rams played and a couple of other times down the stretch of the season, and the Patriots did it in spades in the Super Bowl. But the Rams know that's coming too. So the concern in general with the knee injury, that has me worried with Gurley the most. When they think about managing that, and that's their story going into the season, that would concern me more than the other.
And as a defender, that's what you're going for. You want to tackle him at his knees. You want to see. You want to wear him out. That's just all part of it. That's the mentality as a defensive player.
Well, and they have Darrell Henderson now, the rookie, who'll share that load. I mean, it's clear Todd Gurley's not going to be a workhorse. I look at that offense, though, as a big picture. Is there any merit to the idea that defenses have begun to crack the code on the Sean McVay offense, and he really has a challenge to get back ahead of the defenses he'll be facing, Coach?
Well, it's a great blueprint when you don't have to worry about the run. If that running game is going and it's balanced and they're throwing when they want to and you've got to defend everything, it's much easier for the quarterback. So to me, that if I'm Sean, I want to get my running game going.
We're acting like they're 4-12. They just came off the Super Bowl. Yes, they got a little outcoached and the experience of the Patriots came into play, but I still think it's something that you build confidence off of. He was just a quarterback in the Super Bowl.
He's going to be fine.
Yeah, I think he's going to be fine, too.
They need that balance.
How do you reset, though, when you only score 3 points in the Super Bowl? How do you get them to go back to 0-0?
It makes you hungry. It makes you hungry. It makes you motivated, and you go back, you watch a bunch of film and you promise yourself and you promise your teammates and your coaches this will never happen again.
You know what the beauty is? Think of what we've seen from the Rams offense in the preseason. Not a thing. Because they haven't played a starter again and didn't do it last year, got to the Super Bowl. So we don't know what they've done, what they've tweaked. So it's all part of the mystery. It is going to be the great research mission of week 1 to see all these teams who've kept everybody on ice all summer, what they're going to look like offensively.
All right, who's got question 2? Rodney?
No, that is me. New Orleans Saints, 2 years in a row, just devastating losses in their last game of the season. Can they bounce back? Do they have enough to bounce back this year?
I think emotionally, Coach, it's very tough when you've had those heartbreaks to keep coming back. I think they understand that Drew Brees, his time is starting to dwindle down a little bit. So I think they do have enough push to win this division. I look at Atlanta. Atlanta, we saw them the other day, Mike, and they're going to be a solid team, 9-7, but I believe that the Saints will get back to, I think they'll get to the NFC Championship.
Does not having Mark Ingram hurt them and just mean more touches for Kamara?
I don't think it's going to change anything.
And, you know, it's Mark Ingram who told Peter King during Peter's training camp tour that the Saints will never get over that NFC Championship loss, and that he personally won't. Now, the Saints are going to tell you a different story because they have to move forward.
Well, he won't because he's not there.
Right, but I think that's just got to, it's got to linger. It's got 2 straight years of having your heart ripped out when you put in all that work and all that effort, and you throw on top of it Drew Brees is 40 now, and you know he had that deep ball against the Eagles to start the game. It was all set up, it was all planned, and he couldn't put enough mustard on it. I just worry that Father Time's catching up with him. It's going to be harder for the Saints this year.
I could sit here and easily justify 6-7 teams in the NFC who I could say, you know what, they've got what it takes to get all the way. But I think this team has a purpose. I really do. When Sean Payton and Drew Brees are the 2 guys who are driving the engine, and there's a little motivation there, they're going to keep that chip on everyone's shoulder. It goes back to 2006, Hurricane Katrina, and they came to this team that was searching for a home and searching for everything else and have set a course for 13 years for this franchise. I think this just fires those guys up to get everybody on board with their time is now. So I think there's no hangover.
To me, they still have Drew Brees, and they've got that great home atmosphere. We were there Thanksgiving, and it's tough to go in there. So if you can get 7 or 8 home wins, that puts you going pretty
really
well.
The growth of some of those young wide receivers, too. We know Michael Thomas got the big contract, very productive every single year, but the growth of those young guys and, Alvin Kamara, I know he wants to get paid.
Yep.
Who's got question 3?
It says 4.
Oh, it says 4? I have question 3. Thanks, Rodney. What's your expectation for the Aaron Rodgers-Matt LaFleur marriage, Mr. Florio?
Oh boy, I'm expecting something interesting. I don't know what quite yet, but here's the bottom line: rock, scissors, paper. Aaron Rodgers is the guy who's making $34 million a year. He's going to win. If there's a dispute over the audible issue and whether or not he's allowed to change the play at the line of scrimmage, he's just going to do it. What are they going to do? They're going to bench him for Deshaun Kaiser? They're going to trade him? They're going to cut him? He's the most powerful guy in Green Bay. And I think the message that has come through loud and clear, he's going to do what he wants, and there's a damn thing that the Packers are going to do.
But why would Matt LaFleur come in and try to change something that a pro has done, one of the best quarterbacks that we've ever seen? Why would you want to come in and change? Give him the freedom to dictate things, just like at Peyton Manning. I went against Peyton for years, and he came to the line of scrimmage. He was able to look at the coverage and change the play. Give Aaron Rodgers the same freedom. Coach, why would you want to change it?
First question I would ask, because when I went to Indianapolis, that was my first phone call. Peyton, come in, okay? I know you've heard a lot of things about me, defensive coach. We're going to do this, this, and this. We're going to run your system. We're going to take care of the football and a couple of things, but it is going to be what you're used to. We aren't changing that. And to me, that's what you got to do with a veteran quarterback like that who's been successful.
May I respectfully ask a question of a head coach? Matt LaFleur has made his bones on the offensive side. Do you come into this situation and say, I'm going to do what you've done, Aaron? This may be your one shot as a head coach. Hopefully it lasts for a while, but wouldn't you want to do it your way?
You want to do it your way, but you got to tailor it to that quarterback, and you've got to make him comfortable. Yes, it's your system, but hey, Aaron, we got to take advantage of what you do best.
Yeah, it's really not about Matt LaFleur, and it's more about the team, and you have to do what's best for the team. And what's best for the team is allowing Aaron Rodgers the freedom to call plays and dictate things at the line of scrimmage. That's what it comes down to. Just like you said, Mike, and you made an excellent point. When he gets frustrated, he's going to come to the line of scrimmage, regardless of those 2 plays. If he sees something, he's going to change it. And what is Matt LaFleur going to be able to do to him?
And the key for LaFleur is he's got to be able to reach the whole locker room, so he's got to have Aaron Rodgers on his side, or it's never going to happen.
And Mike Florio, you know the Vikings personnel. You know what the Bears are all about off a 12-win season last year. The bigger question in Green Bay might be, is their personnel good enough to be around the level of Aaron Rodgers, whether it's a first-year coach or not? Because they've been passed in the NFC North for now.
But they've spent this year, for the first time in a long time, they've plunked down a lot of money defensively. They've done some things to help the offensive line. I mean, Brian Gutekunst spent more in one offseason than I think Ted Thompson ever did in all his years combined.
We'll see if money brings wins.
All right, Coach, I'm going to ask you, who's the favorite in NFC East, the Cowboys or the Eagles?
The favorite? I have to say the Eagles. I think they've got their starting quarterback back. They've got great chemistry. And we see kind of what's going on, money issues in Dallas. I'd say right now you have to say Eagles.
Mike?
Eagles.
The real Mike?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Florio.
Now, I tell you, I really believe in the Eagles if Carson Wentz stays healthy. And with the Cowboys, they're on this roller coaster where they have a good year, they have a bad year. We expect them to be good. They don't live up to it. We expect them to be bad. They overachieve. They just got too many issues. I think the Eagles are a great team across the board. They need Carson Wentz, though, to stay healthy. You can't throw Josh McCown out there. He's not Nick Foles. I love Josh McCown. He's not Nick Foles. He's not going to save that team.
I love the experience of the Eagles. They had, I look at the Cowboys, just too many distractions, Mike. You can't win football games. And then your best player, he's not even on the team. So when I look at this division, I like the Eagles.
What everyone has just said with this reminder, the division games are going to be good, I think, within the NFC East because the Giants, I know there's a lot of Daniel Jones or Eli talk. I feel like they are better overall. I hate to say better by subtraction of Odell because who's going to replace those crazy catches? But the sideshow being pushed aside a little bit and all the circus around the team, I think will be a little bit more Giant-like. I think they'll be consistent. Washington's got some people over there on defense now. I'm very interested to see how they play as the year goes on.
To stay healthy.
That's going to be huge.
And, great point on the Giants. If they run their offense through Saquon Barkley, and he is incredible. Exactly. But I'm saying, like the Vikings did with Adrian Peterson early in his career, they make him the centerpiece of that offense, and they can be better than we expect.
You have the speed question?
Speed round. All right. Number one, are the Bears contenders if their kicker situation is figured out.
Yes, I think the Bears are very capable of going to the NFC Championship.
Definitely contenders. I love their defense, and I think Mitch Trubisky's going to take another step.
They could drop kick, go for 2 every time. They'll still
Bring
be
back
contenders.
Flutie.
They can
Flutie with the drop kick.
With the drop kick, a former Bear quarterback. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, expectations for Jimmy G.
I'm a little down on Jimmy G. He hasn't played with a lot of confidence. He seems like he's still kind of favoring his knee a little bit. I look at them as a team, I'd say maybe 5-11 at best.
What did you tell me our first year on the show about coming back from an ACL? It took you how long?
A couple years at least.
Yep. I mean, not one, not a half season, but a year and a half for sure. So I think he's a ways away from his best ball.
And I think what you guys just said highlights an important start to the season for them, because if it doesn't start well, I think people will be uptight and ask those questions. They're not going to remember he's just off an ACL.
Right.
There's going to be impatience because that was the investment. He's the franchise guy, and they haven't seen any sort of a result other than a little snippet here and there.
And a lot of pressure on Coach Kyle Shanahan and GM
Exactly.
John Lynch, and they may feel compelled, if it doesn't work this year, to move on, and it will not cost much, $4.2 million and a total cap hit to move on from Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, he really could have his 49ers career on the line. All right, first overall pick in the draft, Kyler Murray. What is your expectation for him, Rob?
I think he's going to be solid. I think he's going to be somewhat up and down. He's going to take the lead of the league initially kind of by storm, because we don't know what type of offense they're going to run. But he's definitely going to bring some excitement, and he's tough. He's a mentally smart kid. He's got some mental toughness. I think he's going to be pretty good.
Who's the last rookie quarterback to come in and overwhelm the league?
Baker Mayfield.
Mike
but he
Vick.
didn't really overwhelm the
overwhelm
league.
them.
Mike Vick.
He was good, though.
RG3?
I think the point is there's not really a great answer to that question.
Dan
right?
Marino, maybe 25 years ago.
RG3.
Like, guys played well. Dak played well. You know, a bunch of guys played well as a rookie, but
Those guys were not the number one pick with the
Exactly.
expectation that they're going to just wow everybody. I think he's going to be good, but I think people are going to say, that was the number one pick.
way off the radar in intriguing Week 1 games. 4:05 Eastern, when Arizona takes the field for the first time. Detroit's going to have no idea what the Cliff Kingsbury, Kyler Murray, we haven't shown you anything in preseason, offense is going to look like. It might not work because of the wide hashes and college football stuff that works doesn't necessarily immediately translate to the NFL. It's going to be fascinating to see what it looks like.
Let's not forget not only his first game, Murray's, but Cliff Kingsbury's first game. So we'll
Head
see.
coach, play caller, all that deal.
And guys, football has come so easy for Kyler Murray, high school and college. When he loses 2 or 3 in a row, how is he going to respond to that? Because he's never had to do that before. All right, fourth question. Who do we see first, Daniel Jones or Dwayne Haskins, Rodney?
Dwayne Haskins.
I think Dwayne Haskins also.
Yeah.
We saw Haskins in person play in the preseason in Atlanta.
He's getting better.
Real deal.
Yeah.
Real deal. It's coming. Hopefully for them and for him, they don't have to rush him in. I'd say Haskins.
I feel like when Kyler Murray picked football over baseball, it sucked all the oxygen out of the room for Dwayne Haskins, or we would have been all over him in the weeks prior to the draft. I think he's going to be great, and I think we'll see him first. Sleeper team in the NFC?
I'm going to go Minnesota. Is that considered a sleeper team?
Yeah, they didn't make the playoffs last year.
I'd say Minnesota. Get
Very
back to playing
liberal use of
defense.
sleeper team. No, that's fine. Florio gave it to
He
you.
didn't make the playoffs, Mike.
Very liberal use.
I'm going to say Atlanta. Atlanta had a lot of injuries last year. I think their defense will be better. I think they bounce back.
I'm having a really hard time with the NFC because I can justify, as I said, 6 teams, but I can justify 11 playoff teams in the NFC. I'm going to throw you Carolina. I know Cam hurt his foot in the preseason game. I know last year wasn't right with Cam. I'm a big believer in Ron Rivera, big believer in what they do. McCaffrey down there, if Cam is healthy, the guys they have on the outside and receivers, they are talented. We know their defense is always going to be pretty good. So I'll throw you Carolina.
I think the Buccaneers, just because there's no middle ground for this Bruce Arians team. They're either going to be great or it's going to be a disaster. And if I got to flip that coin for now, I'm optimistic enough about Bruce Arians to say they're going to be great. All right, it's been great to see you, Rodney Harrison, Tony Dungy, Mike Tirico, and Mike Florio, and we'll see you again real soon.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.